It's a busy month, September 2024, Virgo rising. If deep analytical astrological information about your rising sign is not your jam, this video may not be for you because I go deep. Welcome to all. This is a dynamic month. Virgo rising, it is the eclipse season. Very important for you as a Virgo rising because the eclipses that begin in the month of September are affecting you for the next 3 years. This is where the eclipses between Virgo and Pisces is going to be playing out over the next 3 years. This is your first house and your seventh house. So big changes going on for Virgo rising. Okay, let's get into it. Virgo rising, your ruling planet is Mercury. That is the lord of your chart. Mercury rules your first house. You are a mutable earth yin rising sign. Let's have a look at the slower planetary transits first, opening up the month of September. On the 1st, we have Pluto, which has been retrograding in Aquarius, your 6th house, now retrogrades back into Capricorn, your 5th house, and then goes direct on October 11. Uranus on the same day begins its retrograde in Taurus, your 9th house, and goes direct on January 30, 2025. Pluto retrograding back into your 5th Virgo rising is ending, clearing, disseminating, eliminating anything that has been chronic, long going on forever in your 5th house topics, is giving you an opportunity to have significant completions in your 5th house before it goes direct October 11. Your 5th house topics, Virgo rising, what the 5th house is about, if you will, is children. Any topics of children. Sports and athletics. It's where we get physical. It's the house of fame. It's the house that's connected to investments and gambling. It's where we take a risk, where we get the adrenaline pumping. Topics to do with romance, romantic partnerships. It's where we have pleasure through sexual interactions with other people. Those topics of sex can be highlighted as well in the 5th. It's a house of creativity. It's where we find joy in our creative pursuits, what we want to bring from the mind into form and create something that we love, something that is very intimate to us. These are the 5th house topics where Pluto is now finally tidying up, if you will, what works and what doesn't, what stays and what goes when it's retrograde here for the last time before it goes direct on October 11. And Uranus tidying up, slowing down all that acuteness and abruptness and changes that have been going on in your 9th house before it goes direct on January 30. So you're establishing a slowdown, a recalibration, a change regarding international and foreign connections and travel. The house of higher institutions, education, like universities, anything to do with academia. The house of spirituality. It's your house of spiritual philosophy. It's the house connected to anything legal aspects of life. The house of media and publishing. This house is where we expand through knowledge and physical travel. So Uranus slowing down here before it goes direct January 30, 2025 is where you could be really readjusting or taking a break or recalibrating all of those ninth house topics to get things in order. So you're going deep into the ninth house topics to consider anything connected to your future goals, thoughts. It's very cerebral, and you're trying to break new ground in the ninth house topics. When Uranus then goes direct on January 30, 2025, things that you have been between now and that time, been trying to set into place and create more certainty, Uranus will then take off. It will then lead you into those directions, whatever you're readjusting with more certainty. And if you feel that things have been out of order, not really in line with your visions for the future, this is the time to do it before Uranus goes direct. The other slowing planetary transits continuing in September. Neptune's continuing its retrograde in your 7th house of Pisces and goes direct on December 7. Jupiter is transiting in Gemini for the month of September in your 10th house, and this is Jupiter's detriment sign. And Saturn's retrograde in Pisces, your 7th house, and goes direct November 15. So you have two planets, Neptune and Saturn, retrograde in your 7th house, opposing your 1st house, which is the house of endings, the house where we find pleasure at the end of the day. It's a house of marriage, relationships, and partnerships, be it professional or otherwise, intimate, for example. It's a house of contracts, agreements, and negotiations. It's where we shake hands. It's where we sign on the dotted line. It's where we put a ring on it. It's what we agree to connect with in the 7th house. So these two planets slow down here is like a readjustment, reevaluation time to get things just so with those 7th house topics. Now on to the luminary, the moon. For the month of September, the moon begins eclipse season on the 2nd of September. There's a new moon in your 1st house. Virgo rising. What you begin here is going to play out over 3 years because this is the eclipse season. This is the beginning. So whatever you're beginning here is going to come to fruition, if you will, within 3 years' time. It's to do with your physical body. It's to do with how people see you, how they know you. It's your house of psychology. It's the house of the self. It's all about you, who you are. There's a brand new start. It's going to change. It's going to adapt over time. But what you can expect is a confident new beginning in creating something that feels organic to you, that needs to be purified, cleansed, changed. You want to be more analytical. You want to have details. You need the data. And you do have on this day everything necessary to begin something confidently connected to yourself. It's very intimate, this new beginning that's going to come to fruition within 3 years' time. On the 17th of September, there's a partial full moon lunar eclipse occurring in the sign of Pisces, your 7th house. So this is your relationships. This is where things are ending. This is where things are about where you rest, where you find pleasure at the end of the day. This is the house of relationships, be it them intimate or professional, contracts, agreements, negotiations. This is lighting up, if you will, the beginning of the end connected to the 7th house topics. In the sign of Pisces, that very nurturing, compassionate, very loving sign of Pisces. So this can be quite intimately connected to you. A lot of feelings, a lot of emotions could be percolating on this day. On the 17th, something's coming to light. And this will also be the proverbial beginning of the end of something playing out in that 7th house over the next 3 years. That does intimately affect you, your image, your body, who you are, and how people see and know you. Now on to the luminary, the sun. The sun opening up the month of September is transiting in your first house. And the sun, for some reason, this month is having a lot of difficult aspects with other planets. Very contentious. So let's look where these contentious moments for that optimistic, life-giving, vibrant sun is facing off in what houses for you, what you could be dealing with, Virgo rising. Well, because the sun is transiting in your first house, the sun is giving you a lot of attention. It's giving you a lot of vitality. You could be very public and you could be very into you and deciding what works and what doesn't work for the self. On the 8th of September, that sun in your first house is opposing retrograde Saturn in your 7th house of other people. Pleasure, endings, the house of contracts and agreements. So what is the sun in your first house as opposed to is retrograde Saturn, being slow to change, to let go, to stop taking, it's like hurry up and stop taking your time. So the sun, you are very opposed to slow changes or things holding you back in those 7th house topics, contracts, relationships, endings, waiting for things to end, waiting for things to, slow down and hurry up. A difficult day to navigate on the 8th of September. Apologies in advance for any noise you can hear that my computer's making, but I've got to get on with this video. Mercury's retrograde at the moment I'm doing this recording, so I'm not too surprised. Mercury, all about communication, talking, speaking, writing, so on point. Mercury rules your sign, Virgo rising. You'll get this when it's retrograde. There can be some hiccups or nuances to navigate. Okay, enough of that. On the 12th of September, the sun in your first is squaring off with Jupiter in your 10th house. So your 10th house topics are authority figures, people that are big dudes, if you will, that have an influence over you, if you will, that is significant. Governments, anything to do with visas, lawyers, like these are big players. Any authority figures in your 10th house. The 10th house has to do with your public image, how you're seen and known. It's a house where you change up who you are, how people know you. They know you as Mr. or Mrs. Cox, for example. You're married or you're not married. You're a data analytic engineer for a construction company, for example. It's how people know you professionally. It's your professional space. It's your career house. And it's very visual. So the sun squaring off with Jupiter here is there's someone possibly that's really putting down the anvil or dumbing you down, and it could be grating on you on the 12th of September. Something is exacerbated here, inflammatory is what I'm getting. Now, Jupiter in of itself, this planet's very life-giving as well. It's very optimistic, it's very abundant, it's very big in nature. So when the sun and Jupiter, these big guys that are really quite optimistic and big players in it themselves, squaring off with one another from your first house to your 10th house, this could be someone professionally or someone around you that is really annoying you, bothering you, or reflecting an image onto you that may not be in line or correct. So a difficult day on the 12th. On the 20th, the sun then opposes retrograde Neptune in your 7th house. So what's the sun opposed to here in your first house is other people draining your energy. Other people just being wishy-washy. You need certainty, and this day could be difficult to get something declared, something written, something affirmative with a partner, something that you thought was coming to an end isn't. It's just a difficult day of what you thought was real, could possibly be not. So take it easy on the 20th of September. On the 22nd of September, we see the beginning of the spring equinox in the southern hemisphere, which is Ostara, and the beginning of autumn equinox in the northern hemisphere, which is Mabon. So a change of season. Everyone on the planet Earth knows, we've been here long enough, we know there's a season change, and we feel it and we see it in other people around us. So a change of season on the 22nd of September. And on the same day, we see the sun then leave your first house and ingress into Libra, into your second house of finance, asset, resources, money, things that support you, support the physical body, support yourself, until October 22nd. So for 4 weeks, that sun is lighting up your house of assets, finance, and resources. So when the sun is here in its fall position, unfortunately in Libra, the sun doesn't do so well in the sign of Libra. There could be difficulty with iron out nuances with contracts, agreements, negotiations of a financial nature. There could also be a lot of energy, really white knuckling, if you will, being very aware of your finances or nervous about your finances as well when the sun is transiting in your second house in fall position of Libra. So check your nervous system, stay calm as you can when it comes to navigating all the details and all the information connected to your finances and resources, assets and possessions. Can be a tricky transit for you, Virgo rising. On the 30th of September, the sun is then going to conjunct Mercury. Now, Mercury is your ruling planet and it rules your first house of the self, your body, how people see you, it's your image. So the sun lighting up you in the second house. So this could see you taking on responsibility regarding a course or learning something or wanting to teach something. This could be financial information that really does impact you. It can be quite positive, but it could also feel a little chaotic on this day, whatever occurs for you as a Virgo rising. Take it easy on the 30th of September. Now we're going to talk about our personal planets. Let's start with your ruling planet Mercury. It rules your first house. And opening up the month is continuing its transit in Leo, your 12th house of things that are behind the scenes. So you could be working away, you could be traveling, you could be far away from your home. You could be changing things up behind the scenes that aren't really privileged for other people to know or see what you're doing, for example. That could be positive or it could be negative. You could be personally dealing with anything cerebral, psychological, taking retreats, doing things that aren't in the public view. When your ruling planet is transiting in the 12th house, this could be where you also are trying to earn money or bring in more money to the self behind the scenes. Anything to do with reading, writing, publishing, you could be dealing with those subjects as well in the 12th house behind the scenes. This is what you could be dealing with opening up the month of September. Before Mercury leaves your 12th house, it then ingresses into your first house. So if you need to get on top of things now between the 1st of September up until the 9th that you don't really want to reveal, or you feel you need to, slow down but hurry up and get things wrapped up before Mercury goes into your first house on the 9th, where things are going to be very public and visible and you're going to be more public and visible. This is the moment to do it, between the 1st up until the 9th of September. When your ruling planet ingresses into your first house, and Mercury, your ruling planet, is exalted in your sign and it's its domicile sign. So Mercury, your ruling planet that rules your body, your image, yourself, how people see you, how you're known. Mercury here is going to make you very visible. And you are going to be charged up, if you will, and proverbially on high octane and on fire when Mercury, your ruler, ingresses into your first house up until the 26th of September. Mercury on the 18th of September is opposing retrograde Saturn in your 7th house. So what you could be opposed to is something being slow to end, or a contract or a relationship, be it intimate or professional, something's off, or you could be opposed to slowing down and taking your time. So it's a difficult day of opposition on the 18th of September for you to navigate. If you've been trying to get information, clarity about a contract or a relationship or ending something, this is the day where it may be difficult to get something finally tied up with a red bow. On the 25th of September, your ruling planet Mercury is then opposed to retrograde Neptune in your 7th house. So what you could be dealing with on this day is people being evasive, information being evasive, things not being clear. So clarity could be difficult to make decisions for yourself moving forward on this day. So take it easy on this day. Your nervous system could be through the roof on the 25th of September. On the 26th of September, your ruling planet Mercury then ingresses into the lovely sign of Libra. And this is your second house up until October 13th. So your ruling planet is now going into your second house of finance, asset, resources, possessions until October 13th. You are very aware of details, data, analytics, and what you need to do to establish firm footing regarding wealth, your possessions, your assets. If you feel you need to have a garage sale, you need to cull, you need to release possessions, fantastic transit to get it done to make you feel lighter, more free yourself up, free your energy up. You could be feeling very cerebral too, like if your nervous system and your brain could be overloaded here in establishing anything to do with contracts, litigation, communication, relationships need to be sorted out that affect you or are significant to you when your ruling planet's transiting in Libra, your second house, up until October 13 from the 26th of September. Now on to our personal planet Mars. Now Mars typically represents our partner in our natal chart if we are female. If you're a male, then Mars represents conflict and where you come up against differences in energies, if you will. Opening up the month, Mars is transiting in Gemini, your 10th house, and before it ingresses into Cancer, Mars is going to square off with retrograde Neptune in his 7th house on the 3rd of September. So Mars, the planet of conflict, separation, disagreements, and passion and initiation, is squaring off with retrograde Neptune in the 7th house of Pisces. So what's difficult this day is something professionally is not coming together or disclosed. You could feel very fired up on this day, the 3rd of September. Take it easy. On the 4th of September, Mars goes into a very different zodiac sign, and it is Cancer. So Mars is ingressing into the sign of Cancer, its fall sign. It doesn't like being in Cancer. It finds it harder to be rambunctious. It finds it harder to be tempered. It finds it harder to not be so passionate. In your 11th house of allies, friends, your social groups. It's a very social place, the 11th house, the house of dreams, goals, and aspirations for your future. So Mars from the 4th of September until the 3rd of November is transiting your 11th house, but it sextiles your first house, so it's an easier aspect and an easier transit for you, even though Mars finds it difficult to be in the sign of Cancer. Your 11th house. So what you could be experiencing, Virgo rising, is a change of heart and feeling very protective about what you love and what you don't, connected to your 11th house topics. So do you love groups and societies that you're connected to? Is there arguments? Is there conflict or separation? Maybe it needs to happen. Maybe you need new people, places, and faces. Mars can certainly get rid of or cut away from things that don't feel organic to you anymore. You don't have a connection anymore, and that's okay. You may be establishing new dreams and goals for yourself. You may be going into public relations and feeling like you need to be an ambassador for an underdog or people disadvantaged. This could be a great transit when Mars is here, really standing up and taking affirmative action in protecting what it loves, what it feels passionate about. When Mars is transiting in Cancer in your 11th house. On the 30th, Mars then trines retrograde Saturn in Pisces, your 7th house. So a trine now happening from that rambunctious, passionate, loving, initiative, go-get-em, conflict-oriented Mars is trining Saturn in your 7th house of relationships, endings, pleasure, agreements, contracts, negotiations. So what you can have here is a lineup of allies coming on board that are certain and very secure. Something lands here that is auspicious and it feels very intimate to you regarding a relationship or an agreement or a contract with another person that is inspiring. People are on the same page. It just looks like a great day for you on the 30th of September. And now on to our personal planet Venus. And again, apologies in advance for all my noise my computer's making, but I've got to get on with this. Now, Venus in broad strokes has been described as, she's the planet of love and relationships. Venus is so much more than that. This planet in and of itself. Venus wants to make things come together, wants to unify. Venus is very social. Venus is very aware of values, what she believes in or he believes in, whatever side of the fence you want to call Venus. Venus is about moving towards what it's attracted to. It's the planet of attraction. Can be the planet that's also connected to finance, but I lean more towards Mercury being connected to finance. That's a personal astrological opinion. But Venus is the great attractor and will gravitate towards things that it views personally as beautiful. Venus opening up the month of September is transiting in Libra, her domicile sign, very strong position for Venus to be in a sign that she can be organically herself. This is your 2nd house of finance, possessions, assets, money, wealth, and things that support you, your physical body, your image, who you are. So what you're attracting here is finance to yourself, relationships to yourself, beautiful things to yourself, things that you find pleasurable to yourself when Venus is transiting in the 2nd house. You could be very diligently accumulating wealth or establishing some really good valuables in your life, be it through you value a course, you value education, you value a vase. It could be anything that you are establishing and creating things and drawing them into you that you consider valuable when Venus is transiting in that 2nd house for you in her domicile sign of Libra. On the 5th of September, the moon conjuncts Venus. This looks fantastic, Virgo rising, for you to have a makeover. Do something you want to your physical body to make you feel beautiful. Whatever you think is beautiful to you. Fantastic day on the 5th of September. On the 15th, Venus trines Jupiter in Gemini, your 10th house. So your 2nd house and your 10th house are in harmony here. So this is something about your career, public image, or an authority figure. Seems to be helping you out and establish something certain with your finances, or even a course or an educational pursuit that supports yourself. Just seems like a supportive day that's quite auspicious because you got Venus and Jupiter, the two benefics of the solar system connecting in a trine. This is a beautiful day. Enjoy the support or the public recognition connected to your career on the 15th of September that supports your sense of stability and your finances. On the 22nd, Venus is squaring off with retrograde Pluto in Capricorn, your 5th house. So what this could simply be is tension between pleasure that's costing you too much. What money do I need to have this pleasurable thing? Do I need to invest? Do I have the money to? I want to take my partner out on an intimate date. Do I have the finances? Are we on the same page? Just something difficult to navigate on the 22nd of September. On the same day, Venus then ingresses into Scorpio, her detriment sign, until October 17, your third house of the day-to-day. The third house is to do with vehicles. It's to do with public commutes, anything to do with reading, writing, technology, technological gadgets. It's to do with siblings and cousins. It's to do with family that aren't blood related, that you consider them family. It's to do with short distance travel. It's things that are habitual. It's the places you frequent. So when Venus is here transiting, you can expect to spend more money in your local environment, spend more money on vehicles, gadgets, spend more money on your distant family, siblings and cousins. These are the topics that you could be dealing with when Venus is transiting here in that busy third house of other people and what you do on the day-to-day. You may also be good at establishing where you're spreading yourself too thin on the day-to-day and need to create more balance as well. Venus is in her detriment sign, though, as Scorpio. So we're talking about being fixated and being very passionate about what Venus loves. It loves security, loves money in Scorpio, and likes to be adorned. So watch out for overindulgences in regards to those third house topics. There you go, Virgo rising. That is your astrological outlook for the month of September 2024. There's so much going on. You may need to write some dates down, save the video to reference back to. And feel free to leave any comments in the comment section below about how you're experiencing these transits or what you expect. I encourage exchanges of dialogue and information with my audience. If you value the content, please consider hitting the bell notification on the video so you keep up with the latest postings, what I upload about astrology. If you're interested in tarot, I also upload tarot monthly videos for the sun signs, not rising signs, for the sun signs. So I'll do a tarot reading for Virgo, for example. If you like the content and you think other people will get value from it, share the video. I welcome that, absolutely. Or share the video to people in your life so you can go, this is what I'll be dealing with, for example. Give me a break. This is what it's about. And also, if you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing that as well. That supports me. It encourages me to keep doing what I love, which is astrology and tarot. I love it. This is my jam. This is the subject I absolutely love, have loved all of my life, and in no way, shape or form do I see in the foreseeable future that I won't. And any support like that really does help me. So any likes, shares, subscribes, hitting the bell notification, thank you so much. So that is your month, Virgo rising. I trust you have a fabulous one, and I'll catch you next time.